Okay, so let me go check this and this. It's Chubby Boy. Thank you, Chubby Boy. You've been the real one. Thank you for being here. You're always making me blush. And let's see. And there, and there. And let's go here. And here. Oh, Khalib says, hi, congratulations on 2K. You deserve it. Thank you so much. It's been a eventful 2 years, but I made it. Let's see. I need to go check one thing. Come on. Let's see. Let me check on my YouTube stream because I need to check that one. That's the other major one. Not that sign in. My other sign in. And here. And here. Bear with me, folks. It's always an issue just trying to get everything put up properly. And let me check out my live control room on YouTube. And there. Moni Rebo says on YouTube, Ryder, how's your day been going, my friend? What's up? It's been going good. This is a 2-year stream. I'm happy. I get to celebrate with y'all. I get to celebrate. I hit 2K. I'm celebrating how many views I'm getting on TikTok and on YouTube. So I would not be here without y'all of you. Kevin Conley says on YouTube, hey Ryder Maven, I love your videos and also the Judgment Day storyline. Thank you so much. Like I said, this is a celebratory stream. I would not be here without a lot of y'all. Y'all been sticking through me with thick and thin, even as I change my opinions on certain people, and I really appreciate that. Khalib said, did you see Dom's story on Sean King since I take you there? So what do you think about that? I don't know. I haven't seen that. I just know that Dom has been really, 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 really quiet. Like, he hasn't even been reposting Liv stuff on the X. So it's kind of concerning. Jacob says, other than TJ stuff, what do you expect for Raw tomorrow? I don't know, and to be honest, Jacob, I really don't care. Like, especially in the fact that TKO has let off the New Day and half of the MFTs, and Roman Reigns is not scheduled to be anywhere on Raw in June or something like that. So it's like, what's the point? Clip said, Liv reposted Finn's tweet with him and is talking to him and Dom. We're here in the room backstage. Yeah, like she has done that. That's why I'm thinking there's a lot of 2024 callbacks. This is why I'm thinking that this spin stuff is just a red herring because way too many people are jumping on the bandwagon of Roxanne turning face just based off of one segment. And this is just, to me, mirroring what happened in 2024. And if you went through 2024 with me, you would see a lot of the callbacks. So let us get started. Thank y'all on YouTube for following as well. And let us go. Let's see. Alright, so for this save point, we're not doing Breath of Fire 4. I'm going to save that for the other save points, but what I'm going to do is a game called Star Ocean, the second story R. This is the revamp of Star Ocean that from the PlayStation 1. This was my favorite game on the PlayStation 1. Like I said, I have been gaming for a long time. So we're going to get into Star Ocean second story. I really did like this story. It's very multi-level. There's many different there's many different endings. You could pair people up, even though it was a bitch and a half to pair them up because what was it? Claude and Rena had like set values, and that's what I really hate about. This is the only quibble I had about this game is because you had set relationship points between two people, and you had to really, really work hard at changing them. And because Claude and Rena were meant to be, but you could put them with other people, so I don't really like that mechanic. Because I am sort of kind of done designing my own game in RPG Maker, I kind of want that same mechanic, but not to the point where everything is just so fixed where it takes a player so long to change the value. So, that's my only quibble with Star Ocean 2, but you'll see what it gets to when I get into it a little bit more. Lonnie Reba says, also, how do you see the whole Judgment Day going down between Rox and Liv? I feel like Roxanne's going to fit with just stab him in the back, as in turning face but turning heel afterwards. I mean, they could do that. I'm going to get into why it doesn't really make sense for Roxanne to turn face now, because she hasn't had those hints at turning face like Finn has and even like Liv has. Because if she turns now, it'll be way out of the blue. Like, I'm serious. Like even though people are wanting it, and people are just wanting this Roxanne face turn just because they want a Liv and Dom mixed tag team. And even with that, it's just to further Liv's storyline. It's not, Dom is nowhere in there. And even if I'm getting on my not gonna lies now, people are turning around to saying, like, they're just seeing that people are just wanting this Liv Dom thing just so Liv can have this build up, but nothing for Dom. And it's just like, if we have a Roxanne turn, it's going to be to further Liv's story and not Dom's, because Dom and Finn is the feud. But how come we're pulling Liv into this as a major player? Liv can be flavor, like Roxanne can be flavor, but why are we pulling it? But I'm going to get into that later. And that's just been a very annoying right now, because, and I don't think even Dom going solo will fix any of that. That's why I'm saying, like, not, even if he was to go solo, that doesn't guarantee that things will change with his booking. So, Khalib says, so doesn't mean Liv is going to start questioning Dom tomorrow. I don't know. I mean, she might. I mean, I have my own ideas on, like, a way out there thing of what could happen, like, if they really wanted to pull a trigger, but I'll get into that later. So, like I said, this is a 2-year anniversary stream. It's honestly crazy that this channel is already 2 years old. This whole thing started because I really wanted a place to talk about the clues I was seeing with Liv Morgan and Dominik Mysterio in 2024. A lot of my wrestling friends were, and still are, huge Rhea Ripley fans, and I didn't want to burden them with constant Dom and Rhea breakup stories every week, because I was analyzing the clues, and they're really big fans, and even though they've kind of cooled off on Rhea, I know one fan in particular really cooled off on Rhea because of what was going down. At least as it relates to Dom, because we were all Dom fans first, but I wanted to set up a different area just to do my clue taking. So, Wrestling Receipts kind of became a place where I could just analyze wrestling storylines the way I naturally watching them. And after watching wrestling for 30 plus years, you started noticing patterns. WWE repeats ideas, they repeat visual language, they repeat character archetypes, and they repeat story structures. The details change, but the framework doesn't usually don't. And that's why I'm saying this current Judgment Day story feels like a real big callback to 2024. So, and wrestling receipts comes, yes, and a Pepsi. Um, and that's where wrestling receipts came to be, and the name came to be because I keep a lot of receipts on what has happened. If you know me and you've observed me over these past 2 years, you know I can quickly pull up something that's happened in the past in relation to. It's kind of like the bandana thing. We recognize the bandana because Liv did a bandana bit in 2024. That's pretty much where wrestling receipts got its name. Um, And just to, before I move on, Lon Rebel says, um, Lon Rebel says on YouTube, which I feel like Liv is going to get kicked out of Judgment Day next. It's not going to be Roxanne. It's not going to be Roxanne and Raquel to get kicked out of the group. I also feel that members of Judgment Day will saw Liv in the heart soon. Yeah, I mean the thing is when people keep saying that Roxanne is going to turn face, what happens with Raquel? Like right now, she has really defaulted back to this lackey, which is really, really annoying personally because she is so much better than that and she shouldn't be in Liv's shadow like that. But you would think, people never think about what's going to happen. Like they say, okay, Roxanne is going to turn face. Okay, so what happens with Dom? Like, because Liv is just co opting his storyline, so what does Dom do? What does Raquel do? You see what I mean? Nobody thinks about what else is going on here. And while that could happen, and the WWE is going to WWE, like because we've seen that happen, but you have to think about what's going on with the other people in the storyline. Like what happens to a Dom? What happens to a Raquel? What happens to JD? Like tomorrow they're saying like Roxanne could join Finn, but that means that JD eats another loss. And then like I said, I would not put it past the WWE because we had to deal with Dom losing to Damien a lot of times would have made no reason just to get Damien over, but I don't think Finn will have the same problem like Damien did. Like they tried to force Damien to keep him relevant, but I don't think Finn will have that problem. So we might not have to deal with JD and Dom just constantly losing just to prop Finn up. And if that does happen, that's gonna be really fucked up. Winter Mule says on YouTube, I will say that when I first started watching back in early 2024, Dom and Rhea were a thing, and honestly, I felt bad for Dom and didn't really understand why Rhea who got the pop. See, that's the thing too. Like Rhea was straight up in the wrong, and that's why her storytelling annoys me greatly because we never got that moment of the chickens coming home to roost where we never got Dom saying, "Hey, this is what you did to me. This is what's rag." And then even Liv couldn't get that. Liv couldn't just say like, "Well, she did," but Rhea swept it under the rug. Same thing with Raquel. Like Liv and Raquel were trying to tell Rhea what she did to them, and Rhea was just all like, "Oh, that doesn't matter." Like, what kind of turn is that? Like, Rhea is only a face just because people are gooners and they will cheer her for whatever. You see the problem that Damien couldn't keep himself over? Like, he didn't have that Gunner base to keep himself over. You see what I mean? So if Damien had turned like Rhea had, and you see how they tried to force it like they were with Rhea, but it fell off because nobody's going to cheer for him like they did for Rhea. Now, because of this is why I say Liv is heading for that big fall because she's going to have the booking that Rhea should have got in 2024, where she crashes hard and has to be rebuilt back up because she will have no friends. She won't have any allies. She has to rebuild herself. And I thought Rhea was going to get that same booking like Chickens Come to Roost because of um, Mia Yim, Michin. I thought they were going to touch on that some with Michin because Michin said, "Hey, we were battling each other when she was a part of AJ Styles and the Good Brothers, and why would we be friends?" And we thought they were going to touch on that, and then that got glazed over again. So that's just always the annoying thing with Rhea's booking. Moon Rebel says, I would rather have Liv turn face or tweener, if not a face, which gets cheered over everyone in Judgment that's currently in the faction that includes right now. Like, I think Liv is getting prepped for a face turn. She has all this momentum. Like, it makes no point to keep her a heel. Like, especially with Rhea gone. Like, Rhea's on SmackDown now. She's not going to be competing with Rhea. And the only other person that's really a top face is kind of Io, but they kind of ran that again, and there's no point for running that storyline again. And Io's going to be building with Asuka probably for a little bit, even though they removed Kyrie, which makes no fucking sense. But they need that big face, and to me, that means that's going to be Liv, especially with Stephanie McCure being out injured. And if I had known Stephanie had been battling all these injuries, I probably wouldn't have made that prediction about WrestleMania because I thought she was going into this mostly healthy. But now that they've said that she was banged up and she's going to be out for a while, then that changes everything. That changes the whole thing. Like if I knew she was going to be injured, then I probably would have made that prediction like it is. But it is what it is. Just says Roxanne's banana bit was made more blatant, yet everyone ignored it. See, that's the thing. Like they're attaching themselves to this bit segment between Finn and Roxanne, but they're ignoring the bandana. They're ignoring Roxanne posting on Instagram Dom's match. She pretty much did a post about Dom's match on Instagram. Like they ignored that, but the segment, they want to go all in on. You see what I mean? Like if you're gonna go all in on that, then how come you're ignoring the bandana? That's why I'm saying it takes more than just a segment to do so. And you also notice that Liv was putting in like, "Oh, you and Finn were close." I'm like, since when? Since when have Dom and Roxanne been that close? Did Finn bring Roxanne into the Judgment Day? Yes, but we never did find out why she joined the Judgment Day. Like, what did he promise her? I know she's not just joining just for shits and giggles. We never did find that out. Let me pop back over there to oh, oh, oh. Let's see. Let me go back to TikTok. It says here. Jacob says, "Are you going to be reviewing Backlash on Saturday?" I'm not going to watch it, but unless there's going to be some Judgment Day inclusion on that, I'm not going to be interested in it. They got Danhausen as a match on there. Like, I can only take him with small doses. Same thing with R-Truth. Senor says, which of Dom's kayfabe relationships was more toxic? Ooh, I'm going to say that Rhea and Liv relationships are matching right now. Rhea because she beat his ass. Liv because it's just like she's taking over everything and Dom gets nothing out of it. You remember how it felt like Liv and Dom's relationship was starting to feel equal? But if you go back and look at it, it's not. Dom still had to do everything for Liv. Dom was getting her matches. Dom was helping her win. Dom was doing this. Dom was doing that. But here, if one of the comments I got was all like, well, Dom was there helping her with her emotions. I'm like, okay, but what has Liv done for Dom? Other than Survivor Series. People keep going back to Survivor Series. But since Survivor Series, what has Liv done for Dom? Dom was the one that came back from injury championing her. Doing the Valentine's Day. Doing all this. But what has Liv done for Dom? Did she help Dom with Finn? No. Did she help Dom retain his title? No. Dom was doing a lot of stuff on his own without Finn, JD, Roxanne, or Raquel. But, now here, when you think you got your girlfriend back, you're going to think she would help, but she didn't do that. Khalib said, I heard Stephanie could be back before SummerSlam and Liv had 2 interviews yesterday. Like, yeah, I'm not really paying attention to a lot of the interviews because a lot of people want to put a whole bunch of stock in it for whatever reason. And I consider that flavor text. Because you're not going to reveal a major storyline in an interview. I mean, can you hint at it? Yeah. Mom says on YouTube, yeah, a lot of the Liv and Rhea fan base are Gunners, especially Roxanne as well. She has a Gunner fan base as well because of her being beautiful, as always. Same goes for Rhea Liv. I mean, yeah, a lot of women do have a Gunner fan base, but with Rhea, it's just really blatant. Like, she gets the pops when she shouldn't be getting the pops. And then she'll make other people turn heel just because they'll root for Rhea so hard. That's one of the annoying facets of it. Winter Mule says Liv demonstrated revenge tour that she can work solo and be absolute threat. So I agree that she could do a face turn to drive. Yeah, like she can work on her own. She's pretty much doing that now. What is Raquel and Roxanne doing for her? Just being lackeys. That's what I don't like. You're reducing two wrestlers that could be built up as um, potential challengers as a lackey role. Like, this isn't a fatal influence situation where you have JC Jane and 2 lackeys, even though I don't really like Fallon being a lackey because I think she's much more than that. But it's not like that kind of a situation. Just 2000, just 2800 says Dom pushed Liv's stories along while Liv has made Dom's story about her. Yeah, exactly. It's just all about her, and that's again the annoying bit. So, let's see. What else can I get into first before I start this story? Um, oh, also, my analysis style mostly comes from paying attention to official WWE television and social media. And I'm talking about official television, Raw, SmackDown, PLEs, AAA, anything like that, and social media, which means like Instagram, things like that. Outside interviews are interesting, but to me, they're flavor text. The real story is always what the WWE intentionally puts on screen. I think that's why a lot of people connected with the channel because people are genuinely enjoying looking for clues and trying to figure out where a story could head before the WWE fully reveals it. Because you do know they put the clues in there. That's why it's harder for a lot of longtime fans to be really surprised at anything unless it's just like a really shock return like CM Punk at a Survivor Series like 2-3 years ago. Like unless it's like one of those, then you're not really shocked anymore. But just because I'm not shocked doesn't mean it's not a good storyline or a good turn. So seriously, thank you guys for 2K subscribers on YouTube, 1.4 and climbing on TikTok, and the insane views on videos and shorts just supporting my little wrestling analysis corner of the internet. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Jacob says, what do you think the card for Clash in Italy will be? I don't know. That's too far ahead. We haven't even gotten to Backlash yet, or past Backlash yet. Let's see. Lone Rudder says on YouTube, I feel like if Judgment Day does stab Liv, it's because they are sick and tired of Liv getting the spotlight as well as her getting the championship, while they get nothing, and she reminds me of Triple H in that way. Well, the whole thing with Liv and Stephanie kind of is like almost like a same kind of wavelength as Triple H and Booker T, and if you know, you know, and that was really, really uncomfortable. If you get what I'm going with that, with Triple H and Booker T, then you know what I'm saying with that. I'm not gonna put too much more on that, but it just makes you uncomfortable. So, do y'all want to know the clue at WrestleMania that I missed? Let me show you something. So, WrestleMania 42. Peep this. Now, this is from WrestleMania 42. We know that now we all keyed in on the purple because it looks like Dom is going back to his purple aesthetic. And like I keep saying, people, purple has been Dom's aesthetic. You can't just keep saying, well, everybody else had a bandana. Yeah, but it was Dom that made the bandana his aesthetic. Everybody else had a bandana, and then it kind of switched to like a solid color, or in the sense of JD and Raquel, they have a black and white bandana. And who gifted me that? Oh, Claus, thank you. Thank you for gifting me that. So, like I said, this is one of those things where, what the heck? Oh, there we go. Let me adjust this for vertical. Hold on. I should have did this earlier. Shame on me. Okay. That's better. Okay, so we all know the purple aesthetic, and like I said, this has been Dominik's trademark here. This is where he started with Dirty Dom, for earlier Prison Dom. So this has just been his aesthetic. Now there's some changes here, like I have the lucha stuff because he's king to the luchadors, but we see the purple. Now I want y'all to pay attention to the font on that screen. You see that Dominik Mysterio font here? Where have we seen that before? This is Dom's original entrance from 2022 to 2023, going into, I want to say, early 2024. This is his like Tron image here. So notice that he went back to this font. And the WWE, I know TKO might be skimping on stuff right now, because Lord knows they gotta recoup their millions and billions, but why would he go back to this type of aesthetic? And like I said, I had missed this until I noticed it when I was looking at it, like the Raw after. So we have matching fonts. This is just in a different color. So we have this color here for Dom in 2022, 2023. And then we have this at WrestleMania 42. Now we haven't seen Dom's entrance Tron now because, they haven't hit it now or shown it now since WrestleMania. But it's just really interesting that all they did was just change the color there. Just as insanely ugly font. Yeah, I mean, it's not the prettiest, but that's what he was using. So that's why I was saying, I think we are really getting back to his version of stuff. Like, he's reverting. It feels like a reversion here going on with Dom. Maybe that's why he's so quiet. Maybe he's thinking about stuff. And let's see. Just says Liv not being able to do it on her own was the biggest piece of the step feud, and it's setting her up to turn face and do it on her own. Yeah. See, like, she's still using other people. Notice that she still calls them, oh, it's our family. Like, but she's not really doing anything for family. It's like the family does everything for her. Or that this is a reversion back to his aesthetic. Like, if he's going back to Prison Dom, Dirty Dom, early around 2023, then that it makes sense to have this kind of a font. So that's what I'm going with. Like, this is just a part of the clue. I'm not saying that it may not mean anything in the long run. It just means that you can, it's just a part of the things that's been stacking recently. It's a breadcrumb trail. So, like I said, it doesn't feel random. It just feels like it's something intentional, whereas Dom's aesthetics are reverting back. Because maybe they're shifting away from this black and white era of Judgment Day and going back to the OG purple. So now, let's start with some Star Ocean, shall we? Because I've been talking a lot. Let me go see what's going on over here. So, let's go here. Let's go here. Let me turn my gang pad on. I'm going to turn this back up. Because this is super loud for whatever reason. Alright. Let's see. So. Alright. Oh yeah, this is the two, like, you can choose your own thing. Claude or Rita. Oh, they've updated their graphics a little bit. Let's do... Claude revealed, if I remember correctly, Claude reveals a lot of stuff that's going on. I'm gonna go with her, because it's a little bit more like your... Yeah, let me just do Rita. Let's see. We are not doing Galaxy. What are you doing? I'm doing Earth because they're... Oh, I should have brought up WeMod. Oh well. Let's do. Hey, bunny.
Just a minute.
What, Mom?
Don't you what Mom me. How about taking a break for once today? You were just there yesterday and the day before that.
I know, but it's just that being there makes me feel so calm. Come on, why can't I go?
Because I said so. Do I have to remind you about all the crazy things going on since that sorcery globe crashed down on us? Just last night we had a huge earthquake. The animals are all going wild and attacking people. It's too dangerous right now. Besides, there's also a...
What is this?
Wait a minute! Oh, that child? What she sees in the sacred forest is beyond me.
That was close. Why does my mom on me like that. I better get to the sacred forest quick if I want to make it there.
Camp menu. Save point. Oh, they've added save point? Was there a save point back then? Ah, well, at least we got minimap. Yeah. Okay. I think. Okay. Yeah, they really changed this. It used to be really polygonal, if that's a word. Everything is so boring. Alright. Can't menu. Okay. Let's see. And I'm gonna turn you down because you. Alright, down. Sheesh. Okay. Okay, so. Hey, big boy. I see you here. YouTube. Oh, it might have helped if I actually switched to my name. Sorry. Sorry about that. Yeah. Whoops. So. So, anyway, I'll play a little bit more later. But, yeah, I was playing. And then how the game sings, which, oops. So, Jacob says, have you played any Star Wars game? I played Star Wars KOTR. I played both the BioWare games, so yeah. So you said Rhea and Don fans said they were back because they wore the same colors on their gear. Yeah, like I said, it's just picking one element when there's a lot of different elements here. Jacob says, I don't know what people were talking about this new boyfriend outside of WWE. That is annoying. Because, first of all, we don't know if that's confirmed or not. Second of all, it shouldn't make any sense. And Liv, the real life person, even though I'm exhausted of her character, I don't think she would break kayfabe. So, like somebody keeps spamming me Liv's like this post from her boyfriend, and I'm like, I don't want to see that. Like, y'all will, talk about Roxanne having a boyfriend, but then Dom's actually married. Nobody brings him up or her up in these types of arguments. Cleve said, didn't JD have purple lights when he faced Finn on the other Monday? Yeah, he's actually had that like for the past couple of times. Let's see. So, let's talk about what Liv knows about Roxanne. Now this brings me to one of the more interesting parts of the current story. Why Liv Morgan may already suspect more than what she's letting on. On this past episode of WWE Raw, Liv mentioned that she was also watching from home when she referenced Roxanne and Perez watching from home. That's important because during that stretch of television, Roxanne repeatedly positioned herself around Dom when he was seeming emotionally isolated, especially when she went after Dom when JD and Finn got him flustered about El Grande Americano. Um, and the WWE never intentionally clarified what happened after that. Like, we don't know. We still do not know to this day what happened between Dom and Roxanne at that time when after she went after him. So there's an ambiguity there. Here's another person. There's a here not another person. Another detail is that Raquel Rodriguez started physically preventing Roxanne from following Dom. If y'all remember that, you remember those couple of times after the fact, like when Roxanne wanted to go after Dom left, Raquel started physically preventing Roxanne from doing it or going after him. She would stop him, and then Roxanne wouldn't go. And then there's that line Raquel said where she called Dom a habitual cheater. Some fans argued that this meant cheating in matches, but that doesn't work because everyone involved are heels. Like, why would you specifically call out Dom for cheating in matches when everybody cheats in matches, and especially when Raquel and Finn would go on to help Roxanne and JD cheat in their matches in the same night. So they're heels. They're going to cheat, especially Dom. He lied, cheats, steals. That's the whole thing. Cheating is normal behavior in the Judgment Day. So that wording stood out. And it felt to me at the time, and like I was saying here, like I called it then, it felt like a double entendre. Because WWE has already established Dom as someone capable of cheating romantically during the Liv and Rhea storyline. No matter how much you feel about Dom being justified to cheat on Rhea, he still cheated. Like, we can justify it until we're blue in the face, and I can justify it, like, because we all know what Rhea did, but he still cheated. And if you go back and watch Roxanne during that habitual cheater segment, because all four of them in that clubhouse has some really great expressions. I probably should have put the photo up on here, but everybody has some really great expressions there. You can peep Roxanne here because her reaction is really interesting. It's a really subtle, knowing look. If you go back and watch it, I think it's on YouTube somewhere. Go back and watch it. You can see it. Also, like I said earlier, I think we're getting a lot of callbacks to 2024, and I think this is where people are getting tripped up. A lot of fans are waiting for WWE to repeat exactly what the Liv and Dom story did in 2024, but that's not what the WWE operates. They're not going to repeat the same story, even though it feels like they're repeating the storyline. It's not exactly the same. They repeat structures but not more exact plots. But the people change, the details change, and the motivations change and shift. But the framework is recycled. And then when you start comparing what's happening now to what happened in 2024, there are a lot of similarities. One of the biggest callbacks is the outsider dynamic. In 2024, Liv Morgan slowly integrated herself into Dom's orbit before the full reveal happened. The WWE didn't immediately tell the audience, hey, these two are together now. Did we assume that was going to happen? Yeah, but it wasn't said outright. Instead, they used backstage interactions, emotional support, visual proximity, lingering camera shots, subtle behavior shifts. And now, with Roxanne Perez, they're using that same kind of thing. It's just been really, really slow because people have been out and injured, but the breadcrumbs are still there. And also in 2024, Liv appeared around Dom during moments where he felt isolated. She positioned herself as someone who understood him, and now Roxanne is doing pretty much kind of doing the exact same thing. We haven't had them recently been together, but again, that's usually due to injury and stuff like that. And then like somebody not showing up. Um, and then there's visual language. WWE loves visual storytelling, the bandana imagery, the framing, the colors, the positioning, and shots. And these aren't always exactly giant neon signs. Sometimes the WWE wants the audience to feel a connection before they fully explain it. Because once the reveal happens, you're going to be going like that Leonardo DiCaprio meme of pointing at the screen like, "Oh, I knew it." When they actually pull the trigger. Now let's talk about Finn, the demon known as Finn Bálor, because I honestly think Finn might be functioning as the red herring of the story, the same way he did in 2024. And by red herring, I don't mean Finn is irrelevant. I mean WWE may be using him as the most visible source of tension so the audience focuses on him. Remember, in 2024, David was going always so hard, like almost uncomfortably so, against Finn when Dom was not doing anything. Like, you remember in 2024, my old videos, like I was saying, like, why isn't he getting after Dom? And like I said, like, he never did offer to help Dom with Liv. He didn't do anything, just to kind of help Dom with that situation. Except call Rhea that one time, which was a really bitch move, but, I digress on that. But he didn't do anything to help Dom, but he was just going so all in on Finn. Now, it did come to find out that Finn did turn on him, but it was Dom that initiated the charge on that. So Dom started it, Finn finished it. You see what I mean? Like, everything was pulling Damien's attention to Finn, and it's the same way with Liv. Liv is pulling all her attention to Finn, but she's ignoring what Dom is doing. Because right now, y'all notice, right now, Dom is just really, really quiet. Like, this is like the quietest I've seen him be in a long time. Like, outside of like his injury, and we know and unless there's something going on we don't know about injury wise or TKO wise or anything like that, then it's just really unusual for him to be this quiet. Um, and with Finn, they kept presenting Finn as this destabilizing force. Like, he was the one, you see him was talking to Liv. He was getting caught by Damien with Liv in the clubhouse. We saw that. You see what I mean? He was doing all that, and then Dom and Liv were doing something else kind of in the background building there. And now the WWE may be doing the same thing, very similar again. They keep hinting at, the WWE keeps hinting at Finn and Roxanne having some sort of connection. Finn recruiting Roxanne, Liv claiming Finn and Roxanne have this deep connection. But here's the thing. The WWE keeps talking about that connection without showing it. Usually when the WWE wants you to emotionally invest in a pairing, they repeatedly show the audience why the relationship matters. But with Finn and Roxanne, most of that supposed connection exists through dialogue and assumptions. We were told Finn brought Roxanne in to disrupt Liv Dom, but the WWE never answered a bigger question. Why did Roxanne agree to do it? And that makes that even more interesting, is that Roxanne gradually stopped behaving like someone fully aligned with Finn in the first place. Last year, you could already see moments where she stopped following Finn's lead anymore. And this year, there were times where Roxanne actively was telling Finn to listen to Liv. So what happened to the connection? Where is this deep connection coming from? But the more I watch the storyline, the more it feels like Finn is just the smoke. And the more Dom and Roxanne feel like fire, the WWE doesn't want you to focus on just yet. And that's my red herring theory. Let's see here on YouTube. Let's see. Oh, where did it go? Bruh. It says, Looney says, I also feel like the Judgment Day doesn't know about Liv and Rhea talking after Mania when you know that Dom and the rest of the Judgment Day will find out and talk about Liv behind her back. Yeah, that's true too. Like, she was talking to Rhea on her own. Like, if you're going to get after, like, Finn and Roxanne chatting that time, then you kind of have to get after Liv talking to Rhea. Senora says on TikTok, don't forget they showed us the video game in 2K where they both faced the Terror Twins. Yeah, that was true too. Also, Roxanne was in front of Dom during the Stephanie Bakura attack. She was positioned in front of Dom when he was on the screen. And Liv was positioned in front of Finn on that screen too. Like, first the screen showed Finn and Liv was in front of it, and then when Roxanne came in, the screen shifted to Dom because it was like a Finn versus Dom match or something like that. So we did see that. Khalib says, so Dom missing the show is not a part of a storyline. We don't know, Khalib. But I'm just saying, like, unless it is a part of something going on with TKO or an injury that hasn't been disclosed, then he's just being really quiet. Like, if he comes back tomorrow, then we know that he just was being uncharacteristically quiet. And I have a theory on that, on what could happen because of that, but I'll get into that later. So, let me get back to this and actually show y'all the playing footage instead of like that screen again. So sorry. Gotta turn this up. The music is just so dang loud. Let me turn that down.
We got enemies. Yeah.
Okay. Dang, I do not need an information thing just every time I do this. Good grief. I get it. Okay. Oh, it is it? Okay. Oh, and I can't rotate? Okay. Save there. Go down here.
Something about the sacred forest just makes me feel refreshed. I think I'll try going in a little further today.
Famous last words. That's a nice flavor text. I kind of like that. I think.
It's so pretty. I really wish my mother wouldn't worry so much about me. This place couldn't possibly be any safer.
Famous last words.
Look out!
Huh?
Whew. Good thing I made it in time.
It's so weird not listening to the original verses on this.
Who is this guy? He's dressed all weird. And what was that light? He killed that monster in the blink of an eye.
You alright? Well, that was a close one. By the way, if you don't mind me asking... Hey, wait!
That scared me. He didn't have to get so close to me like that all of a sudden. But maybe it was rude of me to run away like that.
You think?
He did tell me to wait, too. Hope he's still around.
Big Boy said it almost feels like they have Raquel in the Damien role where they both were heating up when Rhea and Liv were gone, but their stock just crashed down once Rhea and Liv came back. If that makes sense. Yeah. I get what you're saying. I don't really like the crash. Yeah, I don't really like the,
Oh, good. I was hoping you'd wait for me.
I really don't like how Raquel has really shifted back to this lackey role. Like, she's just taking orders, and then she's just leaving Roxanne, like, just to deal with Liv on her own. Like, it doesn't make sense, especially when Liv eliminated Raquel from the Royal Rumble. Like, if they wanted to keep it going like this, they should have just had Raquel not be eliminated by Liv. Like, unless they're extremely slow burning in it, and I can't believe that they are, but it's just really jarring for Raquel just to drop like that. She was putting in good work, and I don't really like that for her because she shouldn't be in Liv's shadow like that. Like, she could have been over there challenging Jade for her championship or something like that. And then and if she loses, then she could have been building up something between her and Liv, you know? You know, she could even get on the card to wrestle at WrestleMania. You know, people were talking about, Io not getting on the card to wrestle, but there was Raquel who was putting in all this work while Liv was gone, and she couldn't even get on the card. See, that's been my major gripe. Let me go here real quick. Okay, go back here.
Oh, good.
Okay.
I'm sorry I ran away like that.
Oh, no, that's okay.
It's just that everything happened so quickly. I was really shocked.
Scary, huh?
Yes, a little. Still, I'm really sorry about all this. You saved me, but I just ran off like that.
Nah, don't worry about it. Besides, you did stop to wait, didn't you?
Oh, I haven't introduced myself. My name is Raina. Raina Lanford.
Oh, and, I'm Claude. Claude C. Kinney. Hi.
Nice to meet you, Mr. Kenny. So, Mr. Kenny, was there something you wanted to ask me earlier?
Oh, right. It's nothing that important, really, but...
Let's see.
Where am I?
Are you a traveler?
Something like that, yeah.
Where are you from?
Anybody watch AAA last night? The mini Vikingo versus El Hijo de Vikingo match was insane.
From Earth?
Earth? Where is that?
Well, how can I put it? It's really far away from here. Really, really far away. Probably.
A faraway place? That's really amazing.
Yes. Well, not really.
Mr. Kenny, once we cross this bridge, we'll be in Arlia.
Arlia, is that where you live? But, are you sure it's alright if I just barge in?
Of course it is. Besides, I need to repay you somehow.
No, please, don't worry about it. I didn't do anything that special.
You don't have to be so modest. It won't be much, just the least I can offer you. So please.
Okay. Let's see. Oh, got an achievement there. Let's see. If I remember correctly. Let me get to this point here. then I'll go to my next thing.
Here we are. Welcome to Arlia.
Wow, it's so pretty.
Is it? Well, thank you.
Ah, it's such a nice place. I like it a lot. Listen, would you be able to show me around the village?
Of course. I don't mind at all.
Okay. So. Let's see. Oh, let me turn this down again, because... okay. Alright, back to being... Okay. I'll just have you in the background playing, because you are super loud to me. Okay, so... Cleve said Liv took pictures with AJ Lee and Lex at HOF. Yeah. Cleve said the last tweet Dom made was reposting JD sitting on the ladder. Yeah. Senora says, I feel like they will pull the trigger on Liv or Cole feud until they like they did with Finn and Dom. Probably, which is very annoying. Senora says, it's weird watching you in the afternoon instead of at night. Yeah, well, I have an international viewer that really wanted to see me, but they're in like the UK, so. Senor says, Mini by Kingo should be the next Cruiserweight champion. He really should. He was insane yesterday. Senor said on the tapings of the AAA, they confirmed a match for the Latin American title at Noche de los Grandes. Yeah. I think that's Ray Phoenix versus Laredo Kid. Let's see. Senor said, I think Dom should defend his Mega Champions against Phoenix before he drops the title to El Grande Americano. Yeah, it's really annoying that he hasn't really been showing up on AAA. Like, you would think he would at least pop up, like, for one of these tapings, but he hasn't done that. So it's just really weird what they're doing with Dom right now. He said, are they going to have Dom telling Roxanne that he hates her and speaks in Spanish? I don't know if they're going to do that one again. Lonnie says, also, you know, when Liv was injured last year, nobody in Judgment Day texted her, DM'd her, or even called her, while Rhea was the only one that stuck up for Liv on social media. Yeah, see, there's a lot of drop bits that, that happened. So I wouldn't be, like, so that could all be being brought back up again. Y'all want to have a Debunkathon? Now this is I was gonna do a video on this, and then I got really uncomfortable with bringing the real life into it, because this is not that type of a channel. So I'm just gonna mention debunking as it relates to Roxanne happening or not happening, and I'm just gonna keep the real life section really short and brief, because like I said, I don't like bringing real life into it. That's why I don't comment on like this whole Liv Morgan boyfriend situation. Like, it's not my business, you know. And besides that, if that's really impacting things, then, you know, they should know better who they're getting involved with. And that's what I just gotta say about that. Okay. So this is a Debunkathon, and I'm not going to be clear. And to be clear about this, I am not saying I'm 100% right. I'm just saying a lot of the arguments people use to claim that Dom absolutely cannot happen aren't nearly as definitive as people present them. First argument: the boyfriend argument. Roxanne can happen because Roxanne has a boyfriend she posts publicly. And honestly, I find this argument really interesting because it ignores one huge detail. Dom is married himself. So if fans are willing to separate Dom's real life from WWE separate storytelling, why suddenly can't they separate Roxanne's? And then the logic starts getting inconsistent. I'm not saying this to get deep into anybody's personal life here because that's not really my brand, like I said. I'm just pointing out that WWE storylines are fictional narratives. Real life relationships have never stopped the WWE from running romantic angles before. Now, this next one might be the argument people feel strongest about, but this is where visual storytelling comes into play. Argument number 2. The purple bandana doesn't mean anything because other Judgment Day members wore bandanas too, and technically, they're right, but it's incomplete. Organically, the bandanas function more like a general Judgment Day group energy. Like in 2022, 2023, they were all having a purple bandana. But eventually, the purple bandana became more specifically tied to Dom's personal aesthetic. His prison Dom aesthetic, his dirty Dom aesthetic. And it was a solid purple paisley bandana. And it's distinct. And that matters because WWE loves repeating visual languages. Back in 2024, Liv Morgan appeared in a produced WWE shoot with a purple bandana visibly tucked into her pocket, and everybody remembers that. So when Roxanne later shows up with a purple paisley bandana in her Instagram post, I don't necessarily see that as random. I see it as the WWE referencing earlier visual symbolism, and that doesn't automatically confirm Rox's Dom. It's just really interesting that she chose that bandana, that color, and that paisley. Like, if that had been black and white, you could just assume that would have been Raquel, like, helping her out. But why purple? You see what I mean? It does fit in with the WWE's habit of remixing older storyline imagery into newer storylines. And then we have the merch argument. Which is interesting because people keep treating merch like it's the final confirmation that Liv Dom is permanent. But when you actually look at the merch, how the merch evolved, then messages start changing. So, Dom and Liv still have merch together, so they're obviously in-game. But wrestling merch... Okay. So, merch evolved. So, they have merch together, so they're in-game. But wrestling merch doesn't work like that. The merch itself, if you've been paying attention to Liv Dom merch, has changed. If you go back to 2024, the WWE were presenting Dom and Liv as a featured duo. The merch reflected that. Their police lineup shirt, which I have, and their horror style shirts where they emulate Chucky and Tiffany. They had a shared presentation and a shared focus. Both characters were positioned equally. It was couple merch. But now, look at 2026. We have attributed to Dom and Liv, Hot Girls Love Dominik Mysterio. Not Dom and Liv, Dom. That shirt is not centered around the relationship. It's centered around Dom as a attraction. And we've already seen other women in the storyline wearing it, including Raquel Rodriguez. Like, she was wearing that shirt. So that's not specifically tied to Dom and Liv. Then there was the GTA-inspired Latino cheat shirt. Liv is present visually, but the branding focus is still focused on Dom. Like, it's his aesthetic, like lowriders and being a Latino cheat, things like that. It still revolves around Dom, and that's a noticeable shift. The merch evolved from this is a duo to this is Dom's world and Liv exists in it. And whether intentional or not, that changes the storyline energy around the pairing. So that's the whole Debunkathon. Like I said, I don't want to touch on real life. This channel is not about Dom and Liv's personal lives because I don't mention that. I try to say kayfabe. That's why I'm annoyed when people keep bringing me this Liv boyfriend thing. Like, I don't want to see that. I don't care. And the Roxanne's boyfriend thing, I don't care about that. Like, I saw some people trying to put up, like, Finn and Roxanne romantically together. So I'm like, okay, so you can ignore, you can say that Roxanne has her boyfriend then, but you want to put Finn and Roxanne together? You see what I mean? Like, they're picking and choosing where to go. Like, if Dom gets ignored, then how come you're bringing up Roxanne's personal life? Let's go back to TikTok. Khalib said Dom never talked about Liv but Raquel when she was injured. Yeah, Raquel was the one actually bringing up Liv the most there. Khalib says Dom started adding Gary to do his best. Yeah, that was off the WrestleMania vest, I believe. Gabby says, hello, Gabby. Does Liv Morgan have a boyfriend? Because everyone keeps saying that. I'm confused. I don't care. This is not that kind of channel, and I'm not taking it out on you, Gabby, but, like, that's not my business. Like, who cares if she does or not? The only time I would care if it's like you have a Buddy Matthews situation. I'm not taking this out on you, Gabby. I'm just annoyed, like, people keep bringing up, like, this Liv boyfriend, like, because people keep bringing up Liv boyfriend, like, it's going to impact Liv Dom, and it's going to end on that. So I'm like, okay, so Liv Dom is going to end because she has a boyfriend, and not because of a natural end to the storyline? You see what I mean? Like, why is it that people are getting upset and saying, oh, it's good? See, I think this is what's going to happen. They're going to blame the boyfriend for ending the storyline when, you know, everybody and their mother can see that the storyline of Liv Dom is just winding down naturally. Because no wrestling relationship lasts more than 2 years. Rhea and Dom didn't, and they had a lot of meat on the bone. So, and that's the thing with Rhea too. Rhea had Buddy, and unless this boyfriend is going to act like Buddy, because Buddy did act like an ass, and he should have known better because he's in the business, but, like, you know, I really think people are just going to be blaming, like, this boyfriend, this so-called boyfriend, which may or not exist, because to say that Liv Dom is ending because of that. You see what I mean? Gabby says, yes, it doesn't matter because it has nothing to do with WWE. Yes, that's what I'm saying. Like, the WWE still maintains some kayfabe. Is it like all kayfabe? No. I mean, still real life bleeds through here or there. But, you still have kayfabe. Dom maintains kayfabe, and that's who I'm following. And Liv maintains kayfabe. Like I said, as exhausted as I am of her character, and we'll get into that soon. But, you know, I commend Liv for committing to kayfabe. Like, they confirmed to kayfabe. So, you know, if she does have this boyfriend, I don't care, but if she does, I don't think she'd be having a boyfriend that will just have a fit about that. You know what I mean? And if she wants to get out of the storyline, then, hey, I mean, then, you know, that's something they gotta work out. You see what I mean? Gabby says, are you watching Monday Night Raw tomorrow? Yes, and I will be reviewing it after.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
Mom, she said she's gonna stay.
She's
She
gonna
wants to listen to music.
Okay, alright.
All right, bye. See ya.
Okay, bye.
See ya.
Be cool. Alright, give me a little bit more time, Catherine, okay? Senior says, so now Raquel is currently the only single member of the group. Sounds like it. I don't know. Khalif says, so is WWE gonna have Liv burning everything? I don't know. I kind of hope that she doesn't because, you know, she's already done that. So, oh, it's Maisha. Hi, Maisha. Thank you for liking the live. I'm going to be right back. I'll, I'll be right back. I gotta go do something real quick. Okay, I'm back. Senor says, do you think Liv will Liv clocking Dom for some reason at this point? I really do think that she has peeped what Dom and Roxanne did. And probably Raquel did say something. That's what I'm guessing. Because she's pretty much implying that she's seen everything. And that's the thing with the whole Finn thing. Like, you can't claim to know everything and then try to do double speak about it. Liv says that she wants to turn base to base, so how would it go if it's the storyline 2025? I mean, she can say that, but like I said, I don't think she would. They wouldn't reveal like a major plot point of, oh yeah, I'm gonna turn face soon, you know. Um, 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 let's see. Now I'm gonna do into. I'm gonna before I go back into the game. I'm gonna do some critique here. This is a booking critique and balance problem. Now, while I spend a lot of time looking for clues and analyzing WWE storytelling, this also has to be said. Dominik Mysterio's booking has been incredibly lackluster lately. And before people start typing, no, this is not me hating Liv Morgan. I've never hated Liv. But I am exhausted by the current booking dynamics surrounding her. Because after WrestleMania, WWE had Dom attack Finn Bálor. That should have been this major turning point to carry their feud. Finn and Dom have years of history together. Through the Judgment Day, betrayal, manipulation, loyalty issues, leadership tension. This is an actual layered history here. But the very next episode of Raw, Dom disappears, JD disappears, and suddenly the emotional focus shifts back to Liv talking about Finn with Roxanne instead. And that's where the booking starts feeling strange, because the deep history exists with Dom and Finn, not Liv and Finn. Dom should feel like the de facto leader of Judgment Day by now. He's been a part of the group for years. We've watched him grow inside the faction. We've watched him survive every version of it. So you would expect the WWE to finally let Dom fully step into that leadership role. Instead, Liv keeps getting framed as the dominant presence, the emotional centerpiece of the group dynamic, and that creates this weird imbalance inside Liv Dom itself. WWE presents them like this chaotic Bonnie and Clyde style couple, but most of the narrative focus goes towards Bonnie. Dom consistently sacrifices, interferes, helps, protects, and advances Liv's storylines, but the booking rarely returns that same energy towards Dom as an individual character. And every time I point that out, every time I mention Liv's doublespeak, or the inconsistencies, or the possibility that Liv Dom might eventually end, people immediately jump to, you just hate Liv Morgan, and that's not what this is. The issue is balance. Because right now, there are potentially interesting dynamics involving Dom, Roxanne, Raquel, Finn, and Judgment Day politics, but the emotional focus keeps circling back to Liv's perspective. And that's the exhausting part. So hopefully this upcoming Raw finally gives Dom something meaningful to do as an actual character instead of just existing as the connective tissue for everyone else's stories. So yeah, it's not a hate on Liv. This is exhaustion. So, let's go back over here. And play some more. Okay. Alright, let's go. I don't want to go there just yet. Let's go here so I can save. Can we check the barrels here? I'm trying to remember. Claw says, I wish the WWE normalized intergender wrestling. I mean, you would think, but as long as Dom doesn't keep getting beat up, see, I think they would just use that for Dom, and I don't really want that. And Claus also says, I hope JD gets a singles belt early, either this year or next year. Like JD should be in single contention, and I will hammer that home. Like, I agree with that. trunk. Strawberry jam. Claw said, do you see Judgment Day being around for another 4 or 5 years or no? I mean, I think it's gonna be like Bullet Club. Where they'll just keep switching out people. Bella says on TikTok, it's been true that, let me adjust this thing. I gotta adjust that. It says that Dom has been having bad bookings lately. Yeah, I mean, it's just been bad. Like, you would think he would find... See, this is why I was saying, like, I'll believe him when he goes to the main event when I see it. Because his booking has a lot to be desired. Senor says, why the WWE didn't mention when Finn and Liv were allied before they joined the Judgment Day? Like, you would think they would mention that, and like, why is Liv like trying to get Finn out all of a sudden? Like, that doesn't make that much sense either. Like, yeah, he was being a demented demon, but like, why was it now a localized effort to get Finn out and it cost Dom his title? You see what I mean? Bella says, I honestly feel like Liv Morgan is the only one getting spotlight in the Judgment Day, and that's sad. Yeah, they did the same thing with Rhea, and it just gets really, really annoying when they do this. Like, you would think Dom would finally get some of this spotlight. Like, that's all Dom fans want, is just him to get the spotlight. And that's why I'm saying I don't even think even him going solo would help him, because you're gonna keep getting people, you know, he's just not gonna get that spotlight when he's making other people look good. Like, he made Rhea more interesting. He made Liv more interesting. He made Damian interesting to the point they thought he was a title contender, and now look at what's going on with him now. You see what I mean? It is very, very annoying. Claw said, Bullet Club lasted 13 years. It can happen. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I can see them swapping out people. Alright, let's go over here and finish this out. Oh, go here. Okay, we did that. Can't do that just yet. We did that. Now we can go over there, but I'm gonna go save and talk some more. Alright, so let me bring down that audio because of course it is too loud. Okay. Alright, so Jacob said JD should be there in the IC title scene. Yeah, I was really, really annoyed like he's not in that right now. Like, he should be over there messing around with Penta. if he's gonna be doing this Finn stuff. Jacob said, what is the whole Randy and Cody thing? I don't know. I am glad that Gunther is now going to be on SmackDown, so I don't have to watch him anymore. Cleve said, so does this mean Liv is going to bring up the stuff she did for everyone in the group? Like, she could, but it's not like she's done, like, but that's the thing, she hasn't really been doing all that much for anything. She's just saying family. I mean, she did previously. Like, she might help Roxanne win, but that's nothing. You know, everybody would help people win. And she's barely been doing that. Now, Roxdom and how it can go. Now, another thing I see constantly that people assume of me is that I just want Dom and Roxanne to get together romantically. And honestly, that's not it. For me, it's less about wanting a specific pairing and more about wanting natural progression in wrestling storytelling. So, this is more about Liv Dom ending in a natural progression and then going into another storyline focus. I like it when stories evolve instead of repeating the same dynamic forever. Because you can't keep repeating that same dynamic forever. Especially what's going on now. Like, this is being grating with Dom. Like, even if you were a Liv Dom fan, and this is what I say about people, like, if you were a Liv and Dom fan, you should be concerned about him being quiet and him not doing anything. Like, if you're a Liv fan only, this is great, but for Dom, this has just been absolutely shitty. So, but I like it. So while I like storylines to evolve, I do love messy wrestling drama because I like the mess. You know, messy and chaotic. That's what wrestling is. So even if Roxanne eventually happens, I don't want it to be just a carbon copy of what Dom had with Liv or what Dom had with Rhea. If the WWE does go in this direction, it should represent progression in Dom's character. That dynamic should change. One possibility is that Dom becomes a dominant personality in the relationship instead of a follower. With both Rhea and Liv, Dom came across as someone adapting himself around stronger personalities. But with Roxanne, we could flip that. We could have Roxanne following Dom's lead instead of the other way around. That's why I'm saying, like, I want Dom to shift into this dominant persona, because otherwise he's just going to be stuck looking like a sub, pretty much. That would instantly make the relationship feel different from his previous storylines. Another direction is the WWE could take is leaning into Dom being a more manipulative emotionally. Roxanne already has this energetic fangirl energy personality at times, so the WWE could easily frame her as someone who becomes overly invested in Dom. And Dom, now older, more experienced, more confident, could start taking advantage of that loyalty. It would create a dynamic similar to a classic wrestling pairing when one person is clearly being emotionally manipulated while believing the relationship is genuine, which is very old school wrestling storytelling, kind of like Shawn Michaels and Sensational Sherry, if you remember that pairing. Another possibility is Dom's leaning into the darker side of the Guerrero influence. People mostly remember Eddie Guerrero as funny and charismatic, but late 90s Eddie, or was that late 90s? No, that was more 2000, so not late 90s. My mistake on that. So Eddie could be deeply manipulative, selfish, obsessive, and emotionally destructive in the storylines. See his relationship with China after he cheated. Dom tapping into that version of Eddie would actually feel like genuine character progression. Not just cheating to win matches, but becoming emotionally dangerous too. And honestly, that would fit into the current Judgment Day atmosphere as well. And then you have the possibility of Roxanne channeling some of that chaotic energy that made AJ Lee so compelling. WWE has referenced Roxanne looking up to AJ Lee for years, so there's an already built-in storyline connection there. You could have a situation where Dom thinks he's fully in control of the relationship, only for Roxanne's emotional attachment and unpredictability to become something he can't actually manage, which could create completely different dynamic from Dom's previous relationships. You know how I always said like I've always said like Dom should always be like women should have been flirting with him and stuff like that, and we kind of got that with Tiffany. It's the kind of similar beat here, where it's where Dom thinks he's doing one thing and it turns out to be another, something like that. You get that obsessive character, and I think that could work with Roxanne. And speaking of Roxy, there's another thing that I've seen people immediately jump into after one segment is that Roxanne is turning face. And honestly, maybe eventually. But whenever people say that, I immediately start playing the and then what game. Because if Roxanne suddenly turns babyface right now, what exactly happens to Roxanne Rodriguez in the story? Raquel has legitimate unresolved issues with Liv Morgan. WWE already planted tension there, especially with Liv eliminating Raquel from the Royal Rumble, Raquel being repeatedly sidelined, and Raquel constantly sacrificing for Liv. So if Roxanne immediately flips face, the entire dynamic around Raquel becomes awkward narratively. And honestly, proper face turns usually require more build than one emotionally charged segment. Finn warning Roxanne isn't enough by himself. Eventually, especially because the segment still largely functions to serve Finn's role in the story. If WWE truly wants Roxanne to become sympathetic babyface, they usually need to start laying more traditional groundwork, like commentary gradually becoming more supportive of her. Other babyfaces try to reach her emotionally. See CM Punk with Finn. You're Better Than This promo. See Stephanie's promo with Liv. Moments of hesitation or guilt. The WWE normally builds face turns through emotional friction over time. So at least right now, I still view Roxanne as a heel. I just think that she might ultimately become the catalyst for Liv's downfall. Because interestingly enough, WWE has already been giving Liv some of that same emotional luggage or language that they previously gave Rhea Ripley before her own big shift. So the suggestion is that Liv might be losing herself, which makes me think Roxanne's potentially triggering Liv's collapse could eventually become the thing that pushes Liv into a face turn later on. Bella says, I used to think DomRox was not going to happen, but then with all these clues I do. I mean, it's just a lot of breadcrumbs right now. It's nothing really definitive. Like, we need to see some more definitive stuff, but it's just too much breadcrumbs not to not notice it. I'm not burying my head in the sand. Like, if we didn't have all this stuff, then I would be saying something different. Senora said, last week the IWC shipped Dom with La Catalina because they interacted at WrestleMania. See, that's things too. Like, the IWC flips on a dime. I jokingly, mind you, said that Dom was recruiting. And, there's a little bit of more regarding Dom's recruitment there. Like, people Dom has tried to recruit, or when Dom has tried to recruit people or bring them into the clubhouse, the person that objects to Dom gets kicked. Do y'all remember that? That's a clue that I had put out like 2 weeks ago on X. So, with when Dom tried to bring in Andrade, Santos, and Carlito, Damian and Rhea eventually got kicked. When Dom tried to have El Grande Americano visit the clubhouse, Finn had an objection to it. Who got kicked? Finn. So, if Dom ends up trying to recruit somebody and somebody has an objection to it, that's probably going to be the person that's going to get kicked. Like, I was just saying, like, for shits and giggles, you could have Dom try to recruit La Catalina, not even romantically, just trying to bolster up the Judgment Day. Maybe he wants to have Judgment Day AAA edition down there or something like that. You could have Dom maybe seeing, like, La Catalina as a recruit and Liv object to it. Or Dom could be trying to recruit Mini Vikingo because that man is badass. You could have people doing that, and then maybe somebody, Liv objects, and then there you go. Or you just have people visiting the clubhouse because Dom wants to recruit somebody. And I kind of want Dom to finally be able to recruit somebody too. See, this is one of those things that you want as a Dom fan because he's finally got to be like this de facto leader. Like, you kind of want him to take the reins, be able to recruit people, bring people into the Judgment Day, bolster up the reins. That's what you want to see with Dom. Like, slowly start building him as this main event talent. Not down here where Liv is just soaking up everything. See what I mean? Liv said, didn't Dawn leave Rhea because she was controlling just like Liv? Yeah. And I think that's another thing. I'll get into this in the Raw preview because that's gonna be my that's gonna be my last segment because I have chatted a long time and played not a lot. On YouTube says, what is this? SD Mahood says, hey, I finally made it into the live. Hey, thanks for joining me. Do you think DomRox is going to happen? Until I see something that completely flips the narrative on its head, like I'm talking about a Roxanne turning face, like that has to happen. Like, unless I see something like that, then there's always going to be a possibility of DomRox. I know a lot of people will try to put this as, trying to push it as a Roxanne spiritual. Because I saw people trying to say, oh, Roxanne could turn on them and help Finn win, and then you will have Finn and Roxanne and Dom and Liv at Backlash. First of all, that card is full right now. We already got 5 matches, so I really don't think that Triple H is going to add one more match to that card. The card is filled at this moment. We got 5 matches. And then why would Roxanne turn when Liv just helped her win last week? You see what I mean? I'm going to get into what I think going to happen on Monday, but I just don't see Roxanne just turning on, like, Judgment Day out of the blue like that. Now, if she had lost last week, where, maybe she lost because Liv wasn't helping her or something like that, then I could possibly see, okay, yeah, maybe we could see, like, Roxanne maybe turning face, but not at this point. James said, what if Dom tries to get Evil to join Judgment Day? I think Evil's going to be in NXT for a bit. I don't think he's going to be on the main roster. Not for a minute, at least. Khalib said, didn't Dom tell Damien that he started to sound like his deadbeat dad? Yeah. And we knew something was up when Finn reversed that when he was talking to Dom. Lisa said, do you notice that Dom and Rox always wear the same colors and always together? I mean, they're kind of situated right now. They have a split, but I think that's an intentional split on, like, the physical proximity. You see what I mean? Like, you're separating them physically intentionally, because for a long time there was no problem with Roxanne being in the clubhouse with Dom. You see what I mean? I think that's being intentional. SD Mahud says, can you see a push for Roxanne? Yeah, I can see it. I can almost see her going either Queen of the Ring or Money in the Bank. Alright, so let me play it a little bit more. I want to get to this Hero to Light thing, so let me get here, and then I'll finish out what I think will happen on Raw, or what I expect to happen on Raw. Alright, so now we're gonna go here.
welcome back, Reina. Is something wrong?
Something big has happened, Mom. This is serious.
Oh, really now? Just what could that be?
I'm not exaggerating. He's here. The hero has arrived.
I think I've had my fill on LibDom, so I'm just not being coy about it anymore. So I've been posting like with El Grande Americano and Andrea. I've been saying that they're acting like a better love story than LibDom, and surprisingly, a lot of people are just like, they're just saying like they're not seeing the LibDom anymore. I mean, which is true. Like, what's going on with El Grande? Like Andrea was just saying like last night, like, if I have to leave so you can win, then so be it. You're having like this really nice romantic interaction with her and El Grande Americano, and it's really cool, and it's building into the story for this mass versus mass match in May with both of the El Grandes. And we're getting that kind of build where you would expect the romanticism and all this love and stuff like that, and then you come to Brawl where you're supposed to have LibDom, which is supposed to be this nice, hot, romantic, Bonnie and Clyde story, and we're not seeing that. You see what I mean? Like, the difference is deafening. Like, even in NXT with Birthright, we have Ariana Grace and Slacks that have a nice romantic relationship. Now I know they're in life engaged, but I'm just saying, like, comparing the couples here, like, it's just like we used to have that with Liv and Dom. We used to have like this really nice romantic feel for them, but now it's not there.
What?
The hero! The one from the legends! The hero of light! He's come to save us!
Reina, are you sure about that?
Yes, he's wearing clothes like I've never seen before, and he has the Sword of Light.
The Sword of Light?
Yes, he used this unbelievable light to save me in the sacred forest. It had to be the Sword of Light.
So where is he right now?
He's outside right now, so I'm gonna...
Just walk right in, right, don't you, Claude?
Wait a minute, Reina.
Excuse me.
Is something wrong, Mr. Kenny?
It's been a while since you left me, so I was just wondering what's up.
Oh, my apologies. Would you wait outside for me just a little bit longer?
Sure. Do you mind if I walk around a little?
Oh, please do. Go ahead. Whew, he surprised me.
Was that him, Rena?
Yeah.
Are you sure we should leave him out there by himself?
I think he'll be okay, but...
Rena, tell him to come inside. That'll probably be better. Yes, let's do that.
Okay, I'll go get him. You actually believed me, Mom?
Of course I did, Rena. You're my daughter.
Thank you.
Come on, Catherine. Give me 1 second. I'm almost done. Alright, I'm going to... I need to save. Alright, so... Actually... Alright, so... Turn this down again. Actually, let me just turn it down completely. Yep. Okay. So. Belina says, I think Roxanne is going to win Money in the Bank. Yeah, I think so too. That's what I'm saying. Like, if Dom gets in there and Roxanne gets in there and they both Money in the Bank winners, that would be nice. Let's see. Senior says Roxy says has more chances to win Money in the Bank than Dom right now because they want Braun Breaker to win it. I don't think Braun Breaker is gonna win it because he doesn't need it. Like, he's already facing like Seth and CM Punk and all that. I don't think he needs that briefcase. It's kind of like how Seth didn't need it. I wouldn't put it past him, but I don't think Braun Breaker needs the briefcase. Jacob said, "Did you hear the news about Roman?" Yes, and I mean that's par for the course. Claude said, "Do you think a group like the Vanity Project would work in the Judgment Day?" With them, I don't think so. Now, if this was OTM, which has a really Cholo vibe, Vato vibe, I think they would work more with Judgment Day. You see what I mean? Like OTM, like that tag team. Yeah, I don't know about Vanity Project. Carlos says, personally, I hope everything is okay with Dom because I'm not noticing him as always happy. I feel him this tired. If it's booking or something deeper, it doesn't feel him comfortable. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Like, it's kind of worrying that he's in this quiet, especially with how TKO was moving this weekend. Like, it's just really, really quiet. Like, I got really concerned about Dom. I got really concerned about JD. There's, like, a lot of little different other wrestlers I got concerned with. And it's just, like, you're hoping that he's okay. Like, especially with JD. Like, I don't want nothing happening with JD either. SD Behood says, how do you see Liv Dom ending? Like, if they're going to do the full 2024 callback, it just ends at SummerSlam with Dom turning on her like he did with Bria. It's just Roxanne doing it. That's what, if they want to do that full callback. Let's see. Maybe Dom and Finn go to face in the Money in the Bank match and Dom eventually wins. I mean, yeah, they can do that too. Like, Dom is sneaky. You could just have him just do that. Just sneak the win. Khalid says, so does that mean Liv is going to stop wearing a choker and a jacket? I had a lot of people just saying like, well, it was so hot, that's why she wasn't wearing a jacket. I'm like, okay, yeah, that could explain the jacket being gone, but what happened to the choker? You see what I mean? Like the choker isn't that hot why you would take it off. That's what I was saying. Like she was removing everything related to Dom in that post. Like even her shirt, was the Spanish the Spanish shirt, which is really low quality. That was just lazy merch right there for Liv. Like that was a shirt that specifically is like Liv's merch. You know what I mean? Like she took off a choker that's for Dom when she's talking about seeing things from home. You see what I mean? Bella says Liv and Dominik is kind of getting boring and falling apart. Like it is boring. Like if you were expecting Dom and Liv to be like Bonnie and Clyde, natural born killers, like I was expecting it to be. You would think it would be more exciting at this point. Khalid says if Dom is trying to live for Roxanne, does that make Dom a babyface? Nah, I think he just does his triple turn. Because I think they want Liv to be the face. Like, nothing in Dom's programming has shown him to be a face, even though he gets the cheers. But you see how they positioned Trick to turn face with Sammy, with this gingerbread man? You see what I mean? Like, you don't see them moving to make Trick, you don't see them moving like they did for Trick. And making him a face like they would do for Dom. Like, did you see them doing that for Dom? I didn't see that. You see what I mean? That's what I'm saying. Like, things need to start happening just for Roxanne to have a turn. Like, just because Roxanne had this segment with Finn doesn't necessarily make a face turn. And even then, that wasn't like a face positive type turn. It was just him saying like, you can't trust Liv. Yeah, like you can, anybody heel will be able to say don't trust Liv. You see what I mean? Bella says, how long do you think Liv will hold the title? I don't know, but it shouldn't be a year. Like, I'm so over the year-long reigns. And I see that as somebody that like Dom's reign. So, let's go into what I think happens on Monday Night Raw. So, this is what I hope to see on Raw. So, what was announced by Scrap Daddy Adam Pearce is JD versus Finn Bálor Part 2. Because he's already set that up, and he mentioned that in his Instagram post earlier this morning, which makes sense regarding the unresolved Judgment Day fallout. People were already saying, like, Corey was saying, like, that he expects Roxanne to get involved there, and it's interesting. So, why is Roxanne getting involved there, but you don't see Liv there? You see how it's like, shifting? Like, you expect Roxanne to get involved here, but Liv is the one kind of setting things up. Like, I don't even expect Liv to be around that match. You see? You see how it's just weird? But more than anything, I want Dom to return and continue his issues with Finn directly. This feud should be primarily belonging to Dom, not Liv. So maybe it's a good thing Liv isn't mentioned here. I'm surprised people didn't bitch that Liv wasn't mentioned in the show rundown by Scrap Daddy. If the WWE wants to keep using Roxanne Perez as an additional flavor in the storyline, fine. Like, I could see that. For example, Roxanne distracting Finn so Dom can attack them, that works. But the emotional core of the central conflict should center around Dom and Finn's history. Meanwhile, with Stephanie Vaquero reportedly dealing with a legitimate injury, the WWE may need to pivot Liv towards another temporary feud. Someone like Sol Roca could honestly be a fun, fresh matchup. And honestly, Raquel Rodriguez definitely needs more narrative agency. I really don't want to see her slide back into Liv says jump, Raquel jumps territory. There's still a unresolved story there, especially Liv eliminating Raquel from the Royal Rumble. The WWE shouldn't just forget that happened. If there's a contender tournament or some kind of title pathway, Raquel should be involved in it. Now, this is what I can see happening. So, you can have, like, JD and Finn duking it out. Maybe Roxanne comes out. Maybe Finn, like, gets distracted by Roxanne being out there. And then, like, Dom blitzes him. And then JD gets a win there. And then you can keep Roxanne still kind of being ambiguous on what side she is. You can do something like that. Or, if they really want to do a big like trigger pull, here's what you can do. You can have Roxanne be out there and turn on Liv, but this is what happens later. So you'll have everything going out there. You got Dom, you got Finn, you got JD and Roxanne and Raquel and Liv right there. Maybe you have a trigger pull of Roxanne turning on Liv. And everybody's thinking that, this is Roxanne's face turn. You know, it's going to be Liv and Dom versus Finn and Roxanne. But instead of that happening, you have Roxanne turn on Finn too. So maybe she turns on Finn, and then she turns on Liv. And then the kicker here is that you see Dom turn on Liv. You see what I mean? So everybody's thinking that this is a Roxanne face turn, only for it to turn around and it spins to Dom turning on Liv, because maybe that's why he's been quiet. Maybe that's why he's been like figuring some things out on his own. And this is, he's finally come to a decision about what he's going to do. And he turns on Liv. And then, if you wanted to put an extra cherry on the top, you could have Liv be crawling to Raquel to be her sister, because they're family. And then Raquel makes that ultimate choice and turns on Liv. You see what I mean? If they wanted to do that kind of a trigger pull, I could see that happening. You could have Roxanne turn on Finn, maybe help JD get the win. And then later on, you could have Roxanne turn on Liv. And then while everybody's thinking that, Roxanne is turning face, this is when Dom turns on Liv. And then when Liv is, out and she's going, trying to get to Raquel for support, that's when Raquel turns on Liv. You see what I mean? We could do something like that. But if that doesn't happen, I'm really thinking that Roxanne possibly gives Finn a distraction for JD to win, or for Dom to attack Finn. That's what I'm thinking. Because if it's just going to be like JD being distracted, then that's just JD losing, and there's no point for him to keep losing multiple times. Like, why are you setting up this match again just for him to lose again? You see what I mean? I wouldn't put it past the WWE, because the WWE is gonna WWE, but you see what I mean here. Esteem, who says, I kind of see DomRox becoming good friends and allies. Like, it would make more sense for them to do that instead of putting it into the relationship, don't you think? I think they would just do a relationship just because it covers the bases. I mean, you can still have them as good friends and compatriots and stuff like that. But I think they would do that just because they want that narrative weight. It's like what I was saying about Liv Morgan's Revenge Tour 2.0. Like, that doesn't work without the narrative weight of a Dom betrayal. And a Dom betrayal, it has to hit her hard, like super hard, like Dom turning on him as the boyfriend, and you need something to kick off a Revenge Tour 2.0. You see what I mean? Like that, you need that weight to happen. So, I think I'm going to end it here. I have been going for how long now? It's 6 o'clock. Yeah, I gotta go. So what I am going to be here tomorrow reviewing Monday Night Raw. That's going to be probably 10:30 CST PM after Raw. Hopefully we get something advanced with Dom, Roxanne, something here. Like Liv is set up. Like, if Liv isn't there because she doesn't have any challengers, or she's minimized because she doesn't have any challengers, then, that needs to happen. Everybody else needs to be focused on. This needs to be a Raquel focused on, JD, Dom, and Roxanne. Finn too. Everybody else needs to focus. So hopefully we will get that. And, like I said, I think that the story here is far from over. WWE keep leaving breadcrumbs everywhere. The question is whether or not they actually follow through with them, or leave Dom stuck in the background. But seriously, thank y'all so much for celebrating 2 years with me of Wrestling Receipts. I started this just by predicting Liv Dom. I predicted Finn getting kicked out when people thought Liv and Dom were going to get kicked out. And it is yet to be seen if DomRox actually happens. But I have a feeling something will happen. Will it be DomRox romantically or not? Who knows? But something is coming. Thank you all for the support, all the debates, all the theories, all the clips, all the comments, all the chaos, and thank y'all for being my eyes and ears. I know Khalib has pointed out to me a lot of different things, that I missed. So I really thank y'all for being my eyes and ears. If y'all do see anything, hit me up in the comments. And I will try, and I'm going to try and credit a lot of people for pointing things out, because people have pointed out things that I have missed. I have started my Patreon, which is patreon.com/writermaven. I'm going to start building that out. These are mostly behind the scenes tour things of like how I'm tracking clues, because like I said, I don't post all the clues that I see until I get more information. So more and more behind the scenes stuff, or just earlier access to my videos and things like that, then you can join my Patreon. So if you want to do that, you can, or support the channel with the channel membership. I appreciate it. Not need it, but appreciate it. And I'm not the type of person to beg on that. Like, if you want to support me, I appreciate it, but don't think that you're obligated to do so. But again, like I said, I appreciate y'all so much. I'm going to end the stream here. And I will catch y'all next week. Or at least Monday. I'm not sure if I'm going to do something on Saturday. Maybe, maybe not. But maybe I'll try to do these earlier. But until next time, I'm going to bid you all adieu. I'll just see y'all on the next time. This is Writer Maven. Check me out tomorrow on Monday. We'll see how everything goes.